So I saw a comment, and I think it's been commented similar a few times where it's like, you know, I'm saving for the truck, or like don't have the money to get into RV transport right now. So I want to do a video basically like on, you know, getting started in RV transport in a budget. You can do this for low cost. You don't need a brand new truck. You don't need a fancy truck. A lot of the companies are going to acquire trucks that are a certain age, like let's say 2015 or 2016 or newer. Typically it's like 10 years old or newer, and I think that's probably maybe for insurance reasons, and then also they want it to look decent because you're representing their company. But if you have a older truck that's in good shape, most of these companies will make an exception and allow you to use that truck. So, you know, obviously they don't want it to be a rust bucket or anything like that, but if it looks presentable, you know, you can ask them if you can use it. The smaller companies probably aren't going to care as much. Like, I don't think there's an age requirement that I have to hit pulling for the company that I pull for. It has to pass DOT inspection, get the sticker. So obviously, like if you're trying to use the Facebook Marketplace $1,500 truck, like that's probably not going to work out. And you know, you want it to be reliable, because you could get out on the road, it's going to cost you a lot of money if it starts breaking down. But you don't have to spend $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 on a truck, like, you know, especially in the beginning. If you want to spend a little bit more money and get something newer or more features, you know, I would recommend getting into it, making sure you like it before you do that. You know, and if you're the type that doesn't care about, you know, the high-end model truck, that's just more money in your pocket, because you're not paying as much for a truck at that point. You know, because you could buy a, you know, let's take a Ram for example, a Tradesman for probably $50,000 to $55,000, a 2500 Tradesman brand new. It's gonna have the same motor and transmission, rear end, all the important stuff is going to be the same as a Limited or a Longhorn Ram that has all the options, but it's going to be $30,000, $40,000 cheaper, because a loaded 2500 Ram, you know, now you're talking $80,000, $90,000 versus the $50,000 to $60,000. So, you know, they're going to do the same work. One's just going to have a lot more features and be more comfortable than the other one. I chose to buy, you know, a higher end. I have a Platinum F350. I did buy it used, but I chose to spend the extra money and get the Platinum because it's my personal truck as well as the work truck. And, you know, this is what I drive daily when I'm not doing RV transport, and also when I'm pulling my own travel trailer with my family. This is the truck that I use, so I did want the extra features. If it was purely a work truck that I only drove for RV transport, I probably couldn't justify the extra cost to get some of the features. It's nice to have them, like the lane keep assist and adaptive cruise, as well as like massaging seats and stuff, heated steering wheel, all that stuff's really nice. But again, if you're literally just using it for work and that's it would be hard to justify all that. So obviously if you have a truck and it's a diesel, you know, 2500 or larger, then, you know, just use what you have. But for the people that don't have a truck and trying to get into it, you could get a truck could have higher mileage, be a little bit older, but at that point it's probably easier to work on, cheaper to fix. So that's an option. And then as far as other things that you need to get started, the only really other high expense would be like the weight distribution hitch, because you can get started just doing bumper pulls. Most companies will allow that. That's what I'm doing. I've heard of other people doing it. I spent my weight distribution hitch, I think, cost me around $1,000. I bought the WaySafe one, but I purchased that before getting into RV transport. I just purchased it for my personal use trailer because that's the one I liked. You could spend on a brand new one, like a cheap one off Amazon, for probably $300, or you could jump on Marketplace and find a used one for maybe even cheaper than that. Some of the stores, like in the Elkhart area, I think like Dan's Hitch sells used ones, so there's options there as well. You'll need some things like the safety triangles, first aid kit, extra fuses. I'm trying to think what else off the top of my head. I think like a rules of the road book, some of the things that the DOT requires, but honestly you can get pretty much all of that off Amazon for around $100 total. Or again, you could search for used stuff. I recommend having some tools. So if you don't already have tools, I would budget, $100 for like a toolkit, just to keep, like I have like a 200-piece toolkit that I keep in my truck, as well as like a 30-something piece one, just in case, I have to do anything on the side of the road. I have a torque wrench. I think it was under $50 on Amazon, just to torque, make sure the wheels are spec'd. You'll need a battery. I think I spent $70 on a battery from Dan's Hitch, just like the little battery. It comes with everything you need. It's mounted on a metal plate that sits on the tongue. The little twist connects, you just hook the battery up. Ratchet, they gave me a ratchet strap with it. I don't think it usually comes with it. I asked if I could buy one from them. But, you could use any ratchet strap, or you could buy a 4-pack of ratchet straps. I recommend having extras. Like I bought a 4-pack just to keep in the truck in case I have to ever strap anything down in the trailer or whatever. But again, you could buy basic straps for $20 at Menards or something, or a local store. And that's really zip ties. Those are cheap. I think I have like 1,000 pack of zip ties underneath my back seat. I think I paid like $5 for them off Amazon. That's just to zip tie the license plate on. And then I have a little master lock that I lock down the tongue of the trailer. I have like 2 or 3 of them in my truck just for pulling other trailers. So that's not required, at least with the company that I'm with, but I think it's smart to lock it down. And then the mud flap across the back of your truck, the company that I'm with doesn't require it. I just like to have it so I don't cause any rock chips or any damage that I'm gonna have to pay for. So I bought one. I want to say it was like $350. It's the one that like mounts up underneath the bumper of the truck, and it's a quick disconnect, so you can just take it off whenever you want. Basically, you don't have to spend that much. The first one I had on my last truck, it just went around the hitch, and I think I paid like $150 brand new for it. The only reason I mean, it worked just fine, but it was kind of heavy when I wanted to take my hitch off, because it was like connected to the hitch itself. So it made like the weight distribution hitch and everything kind of bulky and heavy, and but I used that all summer, like when when I was towing my personal trailer, and then I used it for the first couple of months with RV transport. So, and you could find those used on Marketplace for around $100. You'll need a fire extinguisher mounted to the truck. I also ordered that off Amazon and mounted it underneath my passenger seat. I want to say that was around $30 with the mount and the fire extinguisher. But really nothing super expensive. The first aid kit, I already had one at my house, so I just took that. But I would imagine you could get one for $10 on Amazon, or stop at Walmart and get one. There's probably some of the larger companies may have more requirements than other companies, so I don't like, this isn't a hard list or anything like that, or something to go off of 100%. Like, don't go to orientation for some of these companies and say that TJ told you you don't need anything else but this. But that's just I just want to give an idea of the cost. Like, you could get into it RV transport on a budget, no problem. So that's just, you know, if you're trying to make a career change or trying to make some extra money, because you could do this part-time, especially for like the larger companies that only require one load per month. You could easily run that one load per month, or 2 loads a month, extremely part-time, and just make some extra cash if that's what you know, that's the route you want to go. I've mentioned in other videos, the company that I pull for requires 12 loads a month, so it's not really part-time. You know, if you do 12 of the shortest loads, you're probably working 25 hours, 30 hours, depending on how much your deadhead is. So technically it would be part-time, but you're still, like, it would be hard to have a 40-plus hour a week full-time job and run 20 to 30 hours a week to hit your min. You could do it easily, but you'd be, you know, putting in some hours and not have a lot of home time and stuff like that. But I just wanted to show that you could do it on a budget. You could also go all out and spend a lot of money to get started. Like, I know a lot of guys do that. If you're in the industry, or you get in the industry, you'll start to see, like, a lot of guys are running really expensive trucks. And if they're buying them brand new, you're talking $100,000 trucks. I don't personally, it wouldn't be worth it for me to spend $100,000 on a truck with the money that I'm making. But I also don't run hard. Some of these guys, they may be running 6 days a week or something, or 7 days a week, where they're running, you know, 7 loads or whatever, and they're making twice what I make. So maybe they're averaging, and if they have a CDL, they're making more money. So maybe they're grossing on average more than $4,000 a week. I guess, you know, then you could justify a $100,000 truck. It also allows you to have more write-offs if you have an LLC. So, you know, you are writing off a lot. So maybe that's the logic behind the expensive truck. I haven't gone, like, I'm still working on my taxes for 2024, but I only ran for like 5 weeks in 2024, so I don't know that that'll be a good enough sample size for me to determine whether or not spending more money on a truck would be worth it. I'm gonna say probably not, but somebody, you know, if you've been doing this a long time, maybe you can comment below. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But I'd also like to know in the comments for guys that are doing the RV transport, you know, if they agree with what I'm saying as far as like getting into it on a budget. I don't see how you couldn't do it for relatively inexpensive. If you're buying pretty much much everything off Amazon and then used stuff, I would think, other than the cost of the truck, you know, you could do this for $1,000 or less and get into it. Some of the stuff you may have around the house already. So, depending on the person, you know, like I said, you might have stuff that you can use. There's probably going to be some expense to get started, but you know, it's when you look at the return on investment, like if you say, okay, I'm gonna spend $1,000, buy stuff used, I already have a truck, I'm gonna sign on with a company, and that, you know, that first week you gross $2,000 or $3,000. Keep in mind there's expenses added to that with fuel and tolls and things like that, but you know, you could spend little and have your return on investment right away. Even if you spent $20,000 on a, let's say you spent $20,000, you bought a truck and all your stuff, and you're able to run hard, and the company that you're leased on with is busy enough, you could make that money back the first month. Like you could gross $20,000 in a month, you know, if you're running hard. So that's just something to keep in mind. But I just wanted to make a video on that, just so that, because I think there's a lot of guys that watch YouTube, guys, girls, that watch YouTube that are thinking about getting into the industry, and maybe they're just a little bit nervous about the cost. That I wouldn't allow that to be something that deterred me from getting into the industry, because it's relatively low cost